Hello there, welcome to Ukrainian Media Podcast. This season we are focusing on German-Ukrainian relations. I'm Olena Solodovnikova, and it's great pleasure for me to be joined by Liliya Usik, the first Ukrainian woman who became the member of the Berlin Chamber of the Deputies. Liliya, Friedrich Merz, the leader of Conservative Christian Democratic Union of Germany and the candidate of the chancellor, promised to stick to his controversial plan to restrict migration. Obviously, this is a political move. Why does anti-immigration policy have so many supporters in Germany now?
It's a very important question for now because in last years, starting with 2015, in Germany, there is a migration policy that is not satisfying for the majority of the German society. So you have so many migrants and also illegal migrants that should leave Germany, and there are no instruments for the government and for the authorities to fulfill this goal and to make these people leave. And after several terroristic attacks and also attacks in Aschaffenburg, it's a small city where a little 2-year-old child was killed, and a passenger who just tried, a passerby who just tried to save him, he was also killed. After that, there was this reaction of Friedrich Merz that we need to act right now and we need to restrict this migration policy for people who cannot and are not allowed to stay in Germany, that they should not be allowed to stay here. And he had presented 5 rules or 5 suggestions how to restrict this migration policy, inclusively the reaction of the police, for example, on the German borders, and inclusively the restrictions on the German level that will be controversial for the European level because they are not the same on both levels.
But could you explain, please, why Merz emphasizes that CDU will not cooperate with Alternative for Germany, although it often declares the common policies to migration?
It doesn't matter whether we have any points of common sense with Alternative for Germany, because the majority of topics of this political party are far away from the Christian Democrats. So if you are listening to them, their rhetorics is very often racially problematic. They are very anti-European, anti-EU skeptical, and they are also, for example, against Ukraine. They are very pro-Russian, and their policies, it's all very German-centered. Their rhetorics is very often as horrible as we know from historical books. So, for example, if I have my committee meetings with all political parties in the Berlin Parliament, and I'm listening to AfD, Alternative for Germany colleagues' rhetorics, their only reaction could be, oh my God, they are really so horrible. So just they're like emphasizing that they want to send all migrants somewhere away, and they do not differentiate. They like sometimes they say, okay, this is a good migrant and this is a bad one. So it's like this point of view is horrible as we look into it. But I mean, like sometimes they say we will leave people who are good integrators. Sometimes they say we want to send everyone away. So you cannot cooperate with them on any level because they are not open for other people, and that they are very populistic. So if they come to be part of the government, in any case, it would be completely different Germany. And I'm sure that many people will leave this country as soon as AfD, for example, gets to rule, really.
Do you mean migrants who...
Not only migrants, but many Germans who are not okay with such kind of politics. They are very German-centered and they are very closed from the other parts of the world.
But could you elaborate about Christian democracy policies of migrants?
In this case, for Christian Democrats, it's important that we have migration. It should be legal and it should be also regulated. For example, we are in need of highly qualified staff, and we want to have migrants who come to us and work here. It is important for Christian Democrats that the people coming to Germany want to work here and to be part of this culture, part of be good integrated, be part of the German society, that they will be interested in German culture and also to be open and tolerant for the European society all in all and for German society, that they will not be involved in criminal structures. So in this case, Christian Democrats are very strict on this politics. They want people to want to come to Germany, to stay here, to be good integrated, and to give something back to this society. It could be like on the professional level, financial level. And if we have so many people coming to Germany and they are like representatives of different cultures, it's absolutely okay. But what is necessary and important, that they are not hostile to this German culture and they do not start to be involved in any criminal activities. And sometimes if you see how many cases we had in last time, it's very alarming for the German society, because the security level is not presented anymore. If you go out and you see some people, you can have fear because you do not know what comes from them.
Mm-hmm. But after all, Germany actually needs migrant workers, at least because of the country democratic crisis, yeah?
Yes, of course, because like in German society, we do not have high birth ranks, so many families decide to live child-free, to have, for example, a pet, or just to be alone, for example. And in this case, German society is altering all the time this policy in the direction we need more migrants, because we do not cover all the needs for professional staff with only Germans.
Yeah, but what do you think? What is your perception about the ordinary Germany people? Do they distinguish between Ukrainian and, for instance, Syrian migrants?
You should ask them individually. I think it is possible that many people differentiate between Syrian, Afghan, and Ukrainian migrant, for example, because their experience shows that Ukrainian migrants are open to this integration. They are trying to learn the language. They try to go and find a job, and their children go to schools and kindergarten. They are close to German society concerning their religion, their culture, their worldview, their values, and this is an easy immigrant and welcomed immigrant for the German society, because they are happy when people come here and want to give something back. So they are thankful to be living in Germany and to be integrated in the society. There are, of course, many wonderful integrated Syrian and Afghan migrants. For example, many Syrians are working as doctors because they have high quality of education. But we also have cases where it is not the case, and people coming here from different cultural background, with different cultural background, that they do not want to integrate, that they disrespect this society. And we had so many demonstrations that showed that we have integration problem, and we have sometimes problem that people in the third generation do not speak German, for example, living here. So it should be like a problem we can talk openly about. And in our case, in German case right now, because of political correctness, you may not talk openly about many topics. And that is the result of this politics, migration politics as well, and also this political correctness policy, that people talk about these topics, but they do not do it openly, and they go and then vote for some alternative for Germany, because they feel that only this party talks openly about these problems.
So the party of Christian Democrats
For now,
about migrants.
For now, we hope that many voters will say, okay, Christian Democrats will represent this more strict migration policy, and that they decide to give their voice and vote for Christian Democrats.
Okay, move to another topic. More than a year ago, you were elected to the Berlin City Council with the highest percentage of votes. Would it be possible now, when the national sentiments is spreading in Germany?
We don't know actually, because for now we have like this parliament, federal parliament election on the 23rd of February, and we'll see how our candidate will, like how many votes will he get. For now, I see that as soon as I was elected, I tried to do everything for the voters and to be very active and present in my electorate area to help citizens with all their problems, inclusively if they want to have like a place in the kindergarten for their child, or they have some problems with their street, or they have some infrastructural questions, or they want to know more about this or that project. So we are like, as Christian Democrats in my district and electorate area, we're very close to people. And this is my hope, for example, that by next elections, citizens of my electorate area will say, yes, she's doing a great job for us, and we see that we are like welcomed in her office, for example, and she helps us with our problems. As we have this federal German level election for now for the Bundestag, we have another candidate, and he is trying to do the same actually, because he is like my colleague, and he is also a member of the Berlin Parliament from 2011. So like everything he does, I'm doing also, but he is doing it in a longer span of time. So I hope very much that our district will support him and elect him to be our Bundestag's Abgeordneter, so the deputy of the Bundestag. For now, we cannot say how voters will vote if it would be like a Berlin level election. We'll see this in the autumn 2026. For that, till that, I have a little bit of time.
Yes, and what positive and negative aspects of your work as a deputy have you faced you could not have predicted before?
For now, I would say it's bureaucracy. For example, if we have some problems and we want to help our citizens, we are trying to help them, and I see how bureaucratic all these procedures are. So we are like knocking on one door and it is closed, we're going to another one. So like as a deputy, I have more power to cope with these problems, because like I have this authority, and if I'm writing an official letter, for example, the chances are higher that this problem will be solved, and still it is complicated. So sometimes it's like Hydra, so it's going bigger and bigger, and instead of being solved. But what is like the biggest problem for now, and I'm still not in this phase, so I haven't faced it personally, but my colleagues have. It is the radicality in the society. So we have like many conflicts between some radicals from leftist or right wing that are aggressive and physically aggressive. So our, for example, helpers in the electorate campaign, they are being beaten, and not only our Christian Democratic Party, so it's the same for Social Democrats and for Greens and for Left Party, and also for Alternative for Germany. So if you are working in this political area and this sphere, you are like working in this sphere without any financial support before you get to this level with a political mandate. So you're doing this free of charge in your free time, and you are being beaten. So I mean, like the radicality in the society, it's something that we are like we are seeing right now in this electorate campaign. We have like mostly every second day we have a message that someone is being beaten. Or there was like one who was a EU candidate of Social Democrats, the highest level in Dresden, in another city, and he was beaten like ready for the hospital, so to say, so as Germans say. So he needed to be treated in the hospital. And I mean, like even 10 years before it was not the case. So as frequently as we have this now, this problem we haven't had it before.
How do you explain this aggressive mood?
I think somehow it could be explained with the situation that people who are doing this, like these actions, they are like not treated appropriately. So we do not have like medially, like in the media, for example, we do not have these cases as a big case, big scandal, like everyone knows about the person who has done this. Everything is connected to data, and it is said for now we cannot say who these people were because police is now like searching, and we do not know anything about that. So we do not see this like justification or this public justification, so to say, that we can say, okay, these were these people and these people did it because of this and that. So everything is like, it was done, it is horrible, and then nothing comes. We do not know anything about that. And this is a problem. So this like data issues in Germany, they are very problematic because of also this political correctness. You have the problem that you do not speak about the nation, the ethnicity of the person who did this. So we sometimes do not know whether they had any migration background or they had some other issues, because like in the focus of German society should stay the fact that person has done something illegally and should be fined for that. And this is the problem for the society, because you do not know anything. Like, how do we respond as a state? How do we respond as a city, for example, on that?
There are more than 1 and 2 million Ukrainians currently living in Germany. How realistic do you think it's to create the consolidated public initiative such as the Turkish community once created? Let me remind you that Turkish people engaged in the construction business in Berlin are Ukrainian capable of lobbying for the interest of their own business communities. Which ones?
We have for now a very big and very active Ukrainian community. So as I came to Germany, it was 2011, and we had like one big group that came with me, like in my age group, and we had also like all diaspora, so to say. So the big group that was very traditionalistic and interested in Shevchenko days and Lesa Ukrainka days and cultural activities. And this generation of my age, they were more interested in making Ukrainian culture a European, pro-European culture, showing that it is modern, it is beautiful through the music, through the costume, and through all the activities, and also very scientifically oriented. So this was a time where Ukrainian community in Berlin started to have some scientific initiatives and research institutes. After the beginning of the full-scale war, we had like even a bigger community, and there was also another group that came. These were students, for example, that is more academic sphere. And also there were many initiatives connected to protesting movement, for example, anti-Russia, anti-Kremlin, and helping Ukraine with humanitarian aid and with other activities. And for now we have these three groups, so to say, and they are all very active. They are very interested in fulfilling this goal to be a good representative of Ukrainian community here, and also helping Ukraine a lot. So they are now represented on every level, let's say scientific level, academic level, business as well, church. Then we have protesting movement, and we have this humanitarian aid. And for now, we have for several years now an alliance of Ukrainian organizations. So these are 18 differently profiled organizations doing absolutely different stuff. And it was a good thing for Ukrainian community, because we have a phrase that there are 2 Ukrainians and 3 Getmans. So it was before the biggest problem was to to have this like ceiling organization, let's say, because everyone wanted to be the most important one. And for now, they had this wonderful opportunity with differently profiled organizations that are still connected under this alliance of Ukrainian organizations. So for now, we have like this start of Ukrainian community being politically involved, and I'm happy for that. So like I'm the first one in the parliament, but I hope I will not be the last one. So I'm motivating all the time everyone to go into politics. As for business, for example, we do not have for now in Berlin, for example, or in Germany, good institutions supporting Ukrainian businesses, for example. So everyone is a little bit alone in this sphere and a little bit like a pioneer, because they need to learn everything about the bureaucracy, about the registration of their firm, about finding financing, about bureaucracy in the administrations, and everything is like a little bit everyone is for himself, for herself in this sphere. So there are some initiatives trying to have legal support and to give legal support for Ukrainian. And for now, I wouldn't say it is in any case institutionalized. So for now, it's like only a pioneering. Also, there are so many refugees from Ukraine that have wonderful background. They were like in different businesses in Ukraine, and they all come to my office and say it's complicated. We do not understand. Where should we start? Could you help us? So we need some institution talking to Ukrainian community and telling Ukrainian community what steps are necessary. For example, to start a startup or to start a firm, to find financing, to start fundraising. All these questions are for now open.
Yeah, and a few years ago you started your initiative in establishing a Ukrainian House in Berlin. What are the progress in this initiative?
As there are like as many Ukrainians and as many Ukrainian house initiatives as we have, like as big as our community here. So everyone wants this Ukrainian house. For now, there are several initiatives who are like trying to do this and try to find financing. I said that I will promote them politically and help them politically, but I do not have any capacities and time capacities, for example, to do it on the daily basis as a full-time job. Maybe if something goes wrong with politics, I will do it really like on the full-time scale. But for now, I see and support the initiatives who are doing this. The Ukrainian House we have in Dresden, it is the most successful one. So there was a journalist, my colleague, I wrote my dissertation with her. So she started that and with a team, and for now she gave it to second generation, so to say, of this team. So they got a place in Dresden, and they have a library there and do workshops and do different courses and counseling and everything Ukrainian community needs there. And the same thing people want to do in Berlin. As like the closest thing for that is Cafe Kiev. Cafe Kiev is like third year in the row doing amazing job one day in a year, where you have all the possible Ukrainian institutions and also international institutions. So it is like an honor to be part of this day and to be part of this event. So like there was Ursula von der Leyen and European Commission and the mayor of Berlin, Kai Wegner, and politicians of all levels who wanted to come and be part of this event. There were movies, there was cuisine, there were national costumes, arts, there were like absolutely all kinds of workshops. This is like the thing that is financed from different institutions and also from different Stiftungen. So like Konrad Adenauer foundations close to political parties and close to different institutions. It is a wish that we have this institution on the like maybe not that global scale, but like on the daily basis. So it's like all work in progress.
Have Ukrainians even asked you for help protecting their interests at state and local levels, and what were these requests?
Yeah, it's all the time. It's happening all the time. So, like, I'm a politician for every people living in my electorate area, and even if they do not live in my electorate area, I'm trying to help. So I would say there are many Ukrainian families that are looking for school, for kindergarten, for job, for psychological help, for counsel, for advice, for something connected to their initiatives. And we are trying to help. And most of them are looking for the flat, for example. In Berlin, you have this like enormous problem. You cannot find any place to live. And people who live in Tegel, in the big refugee camp, they hate it, really. They tell that it's like absolutely horrible to live there, to be there. There is no private sphere. It is very loud. It is also not secure. They do not feel well there. So like their concern is to find a job as soon as possible, to find a flat and to go out. And we are trying to help them. So these are like the most pressing issues. And there are many Ukrainians, I would say, like it's the biggest group that come and say, I have an idea, I want to realize it. And we are trying to connect them to institutions where they could find help. But mostly people come and say, I have an idea, but I do not have money. And if they come with this question, it's complicated for me as well. So there was in all these, like all this time, there was only one initiative who came to us and said, we want to have this Ukrainian house and we have money. So I said, oh my God, like finally there is one. And still is so they were criticized and so on from different institutions. Where do this money come from? And about transparency. So I mean, like Ukrainians need to support themselves more and do not see each other all the time as some kind of like this like only we want to be the first and the best, and we do not want other to succeed. So we are all in the same boat, I would say, and the success of one initiative is our like common success, I would say.
So the problem is to find enemies inside Ukrainian community.
I hope people start to realize their initiatives more and not seek for some enemies inside the community, because like they are all in the same boat.
Yep. And what is about your German colleagues, German politics? Are they support initiatives of Ukrainian community?
There are different German colleagues as well. There are like in Christian Democrats, mostly all support Ukraine and are very open and very interested in Ukrainian culture. And I think they are trying to be even nicer to Ukrainians if they know that I'm somewhere here nearby, because I'm trying to talk to them about the culture, about their cuisine, about their costumes, about history, about their issues like war and everything that is very important for Ukraine right now, about the rebuilding, about the initiatives, financing, and so on. I have colleagues from other political parties that are also pro-Ukrainian, and sometimes I see people who say that it's not their war and Germans have nothing to seek in Ukraine and should be closer to Russia. Mostly you have this in the older generation from people from Eastern Germany, first of all, because they had closer connections to Soviet Union, and they do not differentiate between Ukraine, Russia, Soviet republics. So you have even on the old maps, for example, of the division of Berlin and Germany, different parts, and it's like said American sector, British sector, French sector, Russian sector, though it was Soviet sector, for example. So like talking about Second World War, they start to talk about Russian soldiers and not about Soviet soldiers and so on. So you have like to do a lot of educational work there, and these people are very often very anti-Ukrainian, and because of that you have their political party here, Bündnis Sarah Wagenknecht, Wagenknecht, so it's connected to one a politician, Sarah Wagenknecht, who is pro-Russian and very closely connected to Russia, and she is like in her rhetorics supporting this idea that Germany has nothing to do with this war and should be like should go out and should come to be friends again with Russia, and that Putin is doing everything okay, and NATO and USA are the culprits here. So in this case, you see that there are many people supporting this rhetorics, though like if you ask any Ukrainian, of course, they would say, oh my God, it's like not a common sense. What are they talking about? But this Russian propaganda and Russian disinformation campaign is extremely strong in Germany. It is also well financed from Russian side, and it infiltrated absolutely every sphere from businesses to science, where you have this pro-Russian rhetoric. So it's like a war in this sphere that is fierce as it's probably on the battlefield.
Yes, and we know the last case with Medusa, when they upside all things about Ukrainian war in their advertisement. I know that is a very difficult question, but actually, what is, do you think, how to make our Ukrainian wars louder than the voices of good Russians, bad Russians? So.
I would say it is important for Ukrainians to show the Ukrainian view on the Ukrainian issues, on Ukrainian history, and on this war. It is important for Ukrainians to be loud, not to sit, let's say, only thinking about their problems like in their everyday life, but also to go to the demonstrations, to be involved into politics, to be involved in different German structures, because if there is no Ukrainian voice, there will not be any Ukrainian rhetorics. So Ukrainians are the people who are representing Ukrainian culture, who are building bridges between Ukraine and Germany, and because they are integrating so successfully, they are also very like attractive to German society as well. So like they came and they are amazing, they are open, they are interested in everything Germany can give. So for Germans, it's like the most important issue, that someone comes and is not only thankful, but also is ready to be integrated and to talk more about the culture. So like normally we have pro-Ukrainian Germans. These Germans either have friends from Ukraine or married to someone from Ukraine or having some connections to Ukraine. So it is necessary for them to have this personal element to understand and to be interested in Ukraine. And in this case, every Ukrainian is like in this with this chance, for example, to make German society be more interested in Ukrainian culture. Like with all the possible excursions, with culture, with education, with partnerships, state partnerships and city partnerships, with school partnerships, with all possible cultural projects. And it is also very important that it costs a lot of money. So if you look in this German view on the foreign cultures, they not very into the idea that, for example, Russian money is going into German society for this disinformation. So not every German differentiates and checks the information, and some of them believe it's true. So this pro-Russian rhetorics, it's not doing like all the trolls, they get money for that. Yeah, I mean, like it all costs money, and Ukraine is in a position where we do not have this money and we have more pressing issues. So it is necessary for us to have these strong voices. And For example, as many Ukrainians going into German politics, as many voices we have on the parliamentarian level, city level, or federal level, it is very important that we have more Ukrainians. As you talked at the beginning about Turkish community, I have so many Turkish colleagues in the parliament, and so many from Iran, and several from Croatia and every other country, but only one Ukrainian. It should change. So I need more allies with Ukrainian background who know the culture, the history, the background, and could be a strong voice for Ukrainian interests here.